Special! What a goal! Everybody talks about victory after rest.
Arsenal versus Crystal Palace prediction. Gunners looking to down Eagles again in League Cup quarter-final. Can Mikel Arteta's side take another step towards silverware? We look ahead to Tuesday's EFL Cup quarter-final clash with our Arsenal versus Crystal Palace prediction and preview. Arsenal overcame Crystal Palace inside 90 minutes across 70.5% of pre-match simulations by the Opta supercomputer. Palace have lost 7 of their last 8 meetings in all competitions against Arsenal. No player has scored more goals in the EFL Cup than Edin Nketiah 13 since his competition debut in 2017. Mikel Arteta will hope for the same results when Arsenal host Crystal Palace in a repeat of last season's EFL Cup quarter-final at the Emirates Stadium. Gabriel Jesus' hat-trick saw Arteta's side get past Palace with a 3-2-2 win in 2-0, 2-4, 2-0-5. And they meet again in the last 8 of the 2-0 to 5-2-0-2-6 edition. Arsenal's route to this stage has been fairly simple, sweeping aside League One's Port Vale before a routine home victory over Brighton and Hove Albion in the 4th round. Palace beat rivals Millwall on penalties before an impressive 3-0 win over an admittedly much-changed Liverpool at Anfield. Having overcome the Premier League champions in the last round, Palace could become only the second team to eliminate both of the previous season's top 2 in a single League Cup campaign. West Ham United are the only other side to do so, beating Manchester City and Manchester United in 2021-2022. Oliver Glasner's men are no strangers to cup success either, having beaten Man City in the FA Cup final last term. They are now preparing to feature in back-to-back EFL Cup quarter-finals for the first time since the 1991-1992 and 1990-1993 campaigns. Arsenal will also be looking to win consecutive games against fellow Premier League sides in the competition for the first time since the 2010-2011 campaign. They beat Tottenham, Newcastle United and Wigan Athletic in that edition. The Gunners have triumphed at this stage in their last 2 attempts, including last season's victory over Palace. They have had a player score a hat-trick in both those victories, Jesus last season and Edin Nketiah against Sunderland in 2021-2022. And Arteta may have to watch out for one of those hat-trick heroes coming back to haunt him. Nketiah, who swapped Arsenal for Palace in 2024, has scored more EFL Cup goals, 13, than any other player since his competition debut in October 2017. But Arsenal have another Hale End Academy product to call upon. Ethan Nwaneria scored 4 goals in 5 starts in this competition. Since the start of last season, only Diego Gomez and Cody Gakpo, 5 each, have scored more than the 18-year-old. Arsenal head into this quarter-final on the back of a 1-0 victory away to Everton on Saturday night. Victor Gyokeres' penalty proved the difference on Merseyside, meaning Arsenal will spend Christmas 2 points clear of Man City at the Premier League summit. There was no such festive joy for Palace, who were hammered 4-1 by Leeds United at Elland Road. A late Justin Devaney penalty proved a mere consolation in one of Palace's worst performances of the season. It was surely a factor, though, that due to the difficulty in finding a place for this game in the fixture schedule, the Eagles had to face Leeds just 48 hours after playing their final league phase game in the Conference League against Cups. Ismail Assar missed the Leeds defeat as he jetted off to the African Cup of Nations, while Daniel Munoz and Daichi Kamada are other headline absentees for Glasner's threadbare squad. Arteta will again be without Kai Havertz and Gabriel Magalhaes, though the pair could return before the year ends. Ben White and Christian Mosquera are expected to be a week further behind in their respective recoveries. Arsenal may be confident heading into this one, given they have won 7 of their last 8 meetings with Palace in all competitions. They have already beaten Glasner's side this season, too, with Eberechius scoring against his former club a 1-0 victory in the Premier League at the Emirates in October. Though Palace eliminated Arsenal in the 1970-1971 competition, they have lost their last 3 EFL Cup meetings, both legs of the 1992-1993 semi-final, last season's quarter-final. Arsenal progressed to the semi-finals with victory in 90 minutes across a massive 70.5% of 10,000 pre-match simulations. Palace were afforded just a 13.7% chance of winning in normal time, with the draw which would result in a penalty shootout given a 17.4% likelihood. Mikel Arteta faced the media ahead of Arsenal's match against Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. With the hectic schedule over Christmas limiting time, the Gunners' boss spoke to reporters immediately after his post-match Everton press conference. The match against the Eagles, the schedule, the cup priority and Gabriel Jesus were the main focus of the discussions. The Brazilian has a great chance of starting his first game for the Gunners since his return from injury. This will be Palace's third game in 7 days after their draw on Thursday in the Europa League and then defeat away to Leeds United on Saturday evening. The winner of the match will face Chelsea in a 2-legged semi-final across January and February. Gabriel Jesus has made 3 appearances off the bench. Do you think he's ready to start? Yes, he is. You can see now, not only in games, every day in training, how much he wants it. He's going to deserve a chance soon. Have you been surprised at how sharp he's looked, considering how long he's been out? No, because I was watching when he was 7 months already on the pitch, and the way he was moving and how much he wanted it. I think he wrote a beautiful letter there explaining what football means to him and how it affects his life. I think it was something beautiful. How much could he shift the dynamic? Obviously, he's a very different player to Victor, for example, and Mikel Merino. How much could he shift it and maybe unlock a few players that haven't quite hit their top form? I think that's probably the biggest quality of Gabby, bringing people together, connecting with people and generating a lot of uncertainty in the opponent. When you see him today, the amount of spaces that he was involved in, that's his biggest quality. So we need to exploit that. It's a quick turnaround for what is a really important game against Crystal Palace on Tuesday. They've played a lot of games. They've played Thursday. They've played today. How do you think that's going to affect how both teams go into that game on Tuesday? We are used to it. I think it's the only week that we had a week to prepare. It was this week. The rest until February at least is going to be like this. Sorry for another one on Gabriel Jesus really quickly, but if he does play against Crystal Palace, it will be his 100th Arsenal appearance. So I was just wondering if you could talk about the Gabby that came to Arsenal back in 2022 and the one that you see now. Well, it's been a really intense journey, I would say. I think when he joined us, I think he lifted the belief, the spirit and the energy of the club and the team. I think he gave something very different to what we already had, and it was really impressive. And then he had some very bad injuries that hasn't allowed him to have the consistency that we need from a very important player. But he's back. I think he's fighting his spirit. He's decided to always prepare the best way. He's unbelievable, and the team has got it now, and we need to use it. With so many fixtures you have this season, how important is the Carabao Cup competition to you? Because when you look at the fixtures ahead, when will you guys get a break? Now the most important one is the Carabao Cup against Palace, because it's the next game that we have. Take it game by game. Winning and performing every game helps you for the next one. So now full focus on that. Thanks for watching.